Welcome to the December 1st meeting of the Sacramento Local Agency Formation Commission. Will Commissioner Budge please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Please rise and join me in the salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Budge. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Yes. Commissioner Little?
Here.
I'm going to call everybody because I see a phone number and I don't recognize the number. So Commissioner Jones?
That's Rich Desmond.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Commissioner Budge?
Here.
Desmond?
Here.
Frost?
Here.
Liebig?
Here.
Lololi? Thank you. We have a quorum.
Great. Thank you very much. This meeting of the Local Agency Formation Commission is cablecast live on Metro Cable 14, the Local Government Affairs channel on Comcast, Consolidated Communications, and AT&T Uverse. This meeting is closed captioned and live streamed at metro14live.staccounty.net. Today's meeting will be repeated Friday, December 3rd at 9 a.m. on channel 14. This meeting can also be viewed at youtube.com Metro Cable 14.
Thank you. We also have an announcement to the public that this meeting is live streamed and temporarily closed to in-person public participation. The clerk's office is in the process of hosting hybrid public meetings that will promote board members and members of the public with the option to participate in the meeting either in person or remotely. Thank you for your patience and support. To make a verbal comment at today's meeting, dial 916-875-2501 to provide your contact information. When the chair opens a public comment for a specific agenda or off-agenda matter, callers will be contacted by phone and transferred into the meeting to make their public comment. Written comments are always accepted. Send your email comment to boardclerk@saccounty.net. Your comment will be routed to the board and filed in the public record.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, is there anyone who would like to address the commission on any matter not on the agenda? Now would be the time.
No, there's no.
We have no one? Okay, very good. Will the clerk please read the first item?
First item is the consent calendar, items 1 through 5. Do we have a motion and a second?
I move to approve consent. I'll second that, Frost.
Okay, so we have a motion by Commissioner Liebig and a second by Frost.
Wonderful. Let's
please call the roll.
Roll call. Commissioner Little.
Hello, Chairperson Little. Chairperson Little.
Yes.
This is Manuel, the clerk's office. Just wanted to inform you there is no public comment.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Commissioner Little.
Aye.
Commissioner Budge.
Yes.
Desmond.
Yes.
Frost.
Aye.
Liebig.
Aye.
Wonderful. Thank you. All in favor. Motion passed.
Great, thank you. So the next item we'll take up will be moving up item 7 regarding the grand jury final report.
Wonderful. Item 7 is receive grand jury final report on the Del Paso Manor Water District and consider response to grand jury case titled Del Paso Manor Water District flooded with public safety dangers.
Mr. Enriquez, would you like to discuss this with us?
Yes, momentarily lost the mute button there. Good evening, Chair Little and Commissioners. As you know, the grand jury studied the Del Paso Manor Water District last year and issued its report. And one of those items that was included in the report had to do with LAFCO. I won't summarize the grand jury report since that was part of your attachment to the staff report. However, it did include an item in there that was specific to LAFCO. As a result, staff is bringing this up to you to, number one, review the response letter that was drafted by staff to make sure that it encompasses your response to the grand jury. And then number two, to discuss the next steps. I'll start off with the recommendation that the grand jury had that was specific to LAFCO, and that's the only one in which it will be responded to. And that is, quote, a municipal service review should be performed by LAFCO to study and analyze the information about the water district's governance structure and efficiency. The grand jury also recommends that the Del Paso Manor Water District fully cooperate with LAFCO to initiate this process by January 31st, 2022, for completion of a new municipal service review by June 30th, 2022. Under the Penal Code 933.05, you only have three options for responding to the grand jury. You agree with the finding, you disagree wholly with the finding, or you partially disagree with the finding. In this specific case, I think the commission would agree with the finding that a municipal service review should be completed for Del Paso Manor, and staff does not see a problem with initiating that. The only concern that, as a staff member, that I have is that, and it's reflected in your draft response letter, is that a municipal service review does not only look at governance structures and efficiencies. It actually also looks at the way that the district is currently providing services, its capacity and capability, as well as its finance streams. And the other parts of the recommendation, the other parts of the grand jury report that has recommendations for Del Paso Manor Water District, has a lot of reports that actually LAFCO would utilize as part of the MSR. And so most of those are due by summer of 2022. So we are requesting in the draft response to the grand jury that LAFCO will definitely conduct an MSR, but that it requests that it start the process in summer of 2022 so that we are able to utilize the reports that Del Paso Manor Water District would be creating. That way there's no duplication of effort, and those reports can directly be reflected in the MSR. Otherwise, we basically would be doing duplicative work because, again, a lot of the things that the Del Paso Manor Water District is required to do as part of the response to the grand jury, we would need as part of our MSR. So that's it in terms of the response to the grand jury. I have been in conversations with the new general manager for Del Paso Manor Water District. And he and I have had some very productive discussions about how LAFCO can assist Del Paso Manor during this time. And as a result, staff also has a couple of proposals for you to consider. One of them is to assign a subcommittee to be basically on a 2x2 with Del Paso Manor Water District. I think it's very crucial for the public to know that this is a brand new general manager that the district has, and it also has a brand new majority of the board of directors, all of whom had nothing to do with the situation in which the water district finds itself in at this moment. So caution, I think, is warranted, and probably allow the general manager and the new board to basically give them some time for them to respond. The general manager says he is confident that in about 5 years, the district would be in a much better shape than it is currently. And I think it's warranted that LAFCO work with the district within those timelines. So those would be the two recommendations that staff would have for you. Number one, adopt the draft response letter and authorize your chair to sign that letter as a response to the grand jury. And then number two, to come up with two commissioners who can sit on the 2x2 subcommittee of LAFCO to assist the water district and have conversations with their board. I'm hoping I'm not jumping a little bit ahead of this, but Commissioner Desmond had indicated that he was interested in being part of that subcommittee. But obviously, anyone can participate as part of the commission. Staff would obviously assist the 2x2 to ensure that those meetings are productive. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Mr. Chair, this is Rich Desmond.
Yes, sir. Commissioner.
Thank you, and thank you, Jose. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me and educate me. And the Del Paso Manor Water District is entirely within my supervisory district in unincorporated Sacramento County, and so obviously this is something that is very personal to me. And yes, I absolutely would like to serve, if it's the pleasure of our commission, to be one of the commissioners to serve on that subcommittee. I support the letter. I think that's a good plan, Jose. I mean, I think being proactively involved with the district directly rather than just kind of passively waiting for them to prepare an MSR, I think is the right way to go, and would inspire more confidence, certainly in their ratepayers. I guess my question to you, Jose, in your discussions with them, they said you have confidence that, and the new GM has confidence that they can kind of right the ship, so to speak, within 5 years. In the shorter term, the grand jury certainly, it didn't say so specifically, but it certainly raised concerns about the district's ability, and even the short term, to continue providing safe and reliable drinking water. Do you think that 5-year horizon is too long? And if not, are there kind of interim steps that are going to be taken to provide those assurances?
Those are very good questions. I'm not a water district expert. I can say this: if the grand jury's findings about the state of the water district in its current form are true, and again, I don't know, I haven't been able to corroborate it, but if they are true, the 5 years certainly is a very aggressive timeline. The district, what the district needs at the moment is really funding to be able to do some of the infrastructure projects that they need in order to meet the standards that the grand jury has set out in their report. And so the question kind of becomes, where does the funding come from? The general manager, like I said, is confident that he's able to right the ship, and he said, and I hope he doesn't mind my quoting him, but he said, "This is not the district in the worst shape that I've ever taken helm on." Or so I'm kind of paraphrasing. So he certainly has seen a lot in his 50 years. And so I would imagine that he's very savvy about being able to navigate these waters. So hopefully, I think the 5 years is sufficient. Certainly, one of the things that I would recommend is that when we give if the commission gives those 5 years in terms of a horizon of where the district is at, then we would request that at the halfway point to provide us with a status report at the very least. I mean, obviously the 2x2 would be in conversations during this time, but I think it's not too unreasonable to ask if an update can be given to the commission in about 2.5 years to determine where they're going and if they've made sufficient progress. Because then at that point, in my estimation, I think we would need to start talking about other options. the general manager, and again, forgive me, I'm privy to the conversation, but the general manager has indicated that he's also been in talks with the Sac Suburban Water District, which entirely surrounds the district. So in the meantime, I think in terms of water quality and being able to drill new wells, certainly the interties between the two districts probably will assist the district in being able to provide safe, clean, reliable water to their residents.
Thank you, Jose. That's helpful. I'm glad he is having those discussions, and appreciate your work on this, and would look forward to participating on a 2x2 effort.
Are we looking to combine the 2x2 as part of the motion, or is this the one motion would be for the response to the grand jury, and then a separate one, or do we even need a motion regarding the 2x2?
I will defer to council. I don't believe that.
Yes, that's to you, Deanne.
Motion is needed, but I do think that you need to kind of at least, formalize that you're creating a 2x2, and these are the people assigned to it.
Chair, this is Deanne Gillick, General Counsel. I concur with the executive officer. The order of the motion is at your discretion, can be separate motions or together. We must approve the response to the grand jury, because as is required in the penal code, for the legislative body to respond. And then it's at your discretion. You would like to set up a 2x2 and provide that direction.
Okay, well, let's take the first motion for the grand jury report. Yes.
I just, Commissioner Jones is on, she's under the attendees though, so she's just unable to comment. So we just need to get her moved over to presenters.
And we also need to see if there's public comment before we take action on this item. Thank you.
And I apologize, the internet dumped me and I'm back again.
Okay. And we need Commissioner Jones is out in the ether somewhere.
Her and I have been in conversations by phone, and I've been working with.
Well, there's a phone number that just popped up. Maybe that's her. Commissioner Jones?
Yes. Pardon me, Commissioner, a little. Yes.
Great.
I've been on since the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay.
It's ending on my phone and my iPad, and now I'm on a landline.
All right. Well, we'll take you however you are. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Did you have anything that you wanted to comment on this?
Just that historically that LAFCO has worked with another water district in the county to help right the ship, so to speak. And I have a lot of confidence that Sacramento County LAFCO can do the same in this situation.
Okay, great. Thank you. Supervisor or Commissioner Frost.
Yes, Chair Little, I wonder if it would be appropriate, I think it's appropriate that Supervisor Desmond participate on the 2x2, and maybe the chair, whoever the chair is, I don't know how long this 2x2 will go, but we could say the chair and Supervisor Desmond are the 2x2. I don't know if there are others that want to volunteer to be on this 2x2.
That would work for me. That's a good idea.
So, can I make that motion, or do we have to wait for the approval of the letter, the response letter to the grand jury?
I think we need to go to public comment.
Public comment.
We need the public comments on the grand jury report first, please.
Hello, Chair Little. This
Yes.
is with the clerk's office again. There is no public comment for the item.
Okay, well, all right. Without public comment, do we have a motion for receiving the grand jury report and responding to it in the draft that we have from Council?
Move approval.
Second.
Okay. I'm sorry, who was second?
Frost.
Okay. So we have a motion by Commissioner Budge and a second by Commissioner Frost. Will the clerk please call the roll? You're muted.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Commissioner
Okay.
Little,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Budge,
Yes.
Desmond,
Aye.
Frost,
Aye.
Liebig.
Aye.
Thank you. All in favor?
Okay, great. And do we have another motion?
No, I'll just move that the 2x2 consists of the chair and Supervisor Desmond, who is encompasses that district.
And I will second that with the comment that I agree with Commissioner Jones. The last time I was on LAFCO, there was another water district in the county that was having significant problems. And this is very reminiscent of that. So this is a good solution.
Okay, great. Thank you. Do we have any public comment on any of this?
Chair Little, there is no public comment at the moment.
Okay, thank you. All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Frost and a second by Commissioner Budge. Create the 2x2 with the chair serving as one of them and Commissioner Desmond as the other. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Yes. Commissioner Little,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Budge,
Yes.
Desmond,
Aye.
Frost,
Aye.
and Liebig.
Aye.
Wonderful. Motion passed. All in favor.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
My fellow commissioners.
Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you for offering to do this. Okay, the next item, please.
Next item, we're going back to the public hearing items, number 6. Public hearing to consider and approve the City of Galt Island reorganization.
Mr.
Jose,
Enriquez.
Yes.
There we go.
There you go.
I'm hoping that you're able to see the presentation on your screen.
Looks good.
So the item before you, Mr. Chair and Commissioners, is the annexation of the City of Galt Island. Basically, it's a 39.5 acre island of unincorporated Sacramento County land, consisting of scattered existing development, including rural residences, roadways, a kingdom of Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses, grassland, and scattered trees. The proposed annexation has been pre-zoned to match the city's general plan land use designation for the site of low-density residential, which incidentally also matches the county's general plan land use designations. No development plans currently exist for the island annexation area. Basically, everything is as is. The city applied requesting the use of the special provisions for island annexations found in Government Code 56375.3, which I'll get to in a second. Here is a map of the annexation area. You can see this little map down here at the bottom. It's located to the southwest of the city of Galt, west of Highway 99. It's really on the southern end, pretty close to the county line between Sacramento and San Joaquin counties. And as you can see, the island is completely surrounded by the city of Galt, shown in the map as in the color brown. So to qualify for an island under 56375.3, subsection B, basically you have to meet certain criteria. And so the slides and your staff report indicates what the provisions are under 56375.3E and how this proposal matches it. So the size cannot be greater than 150 acres. As indicated, this island is 39.5 acres in size. The territory constitutes an entire unincorporated island located within the limits of a city, or constitutes a reorganization containing a number of individual unincorporated islands. In this specific case, we're talking about one area. And it constitutes an entire island located within the cities of the city of Galt, the city limits of the city of Galt. Continuing on, it has to be surrounded in one of the following ways. In the way that it matches in this specific case, it is entirely surrounded by the city of Galt. Next bullet point is that it is substantially developed or developing. The finding is required by this paragraph will be based upon one or more factors, including but not limited to any of the following, which is the availability of public utility services, the presence of public improvements, or the presence of physical improvements upon the parcel or parcels within the area. And in this specific case, the parcels are already developed, most of them anyway, and the city services can be extended upon request if necessary. Continuing on, it cannot be prime agricultural land as defined under 56064. And in fact, there's an entire attachment to your staff report indicating how this island does not meet the requirements under 56064 as prime agricultural land. So the soils are in this territory are class 3 or lower, which means they're non-prime. Prime is usually defined as class 2 or higher. And there are no activities producing an annual gross value of $400 an acre. So the next bullet point, that the reorganization will benefit or is receiving benefits from the annexing city. And while the existing residents are currently utilizing private wells and septic systems, the reality is that they do need certain city services in order to either access their parcels or their property in the way of driving through city streets, or they participate in one of the recreation programs that the city of Galt offers, or they use the library for their library services. So the residents, even though they're not using the two big ones, they are still using most of the major ones. And in addition, I should also add that basically it's the Galt Police Department is most likely the law enforcement agency that responds to emergencies in the area versus the City of Sacramento Sheriff's Office. Sorry, the County of Sacramento Sheriff's Office. Continuing on, the subject territory is not a gated community and is not receiving services from a CSD, so the following bullet point does not apply. And then the last bullet point, which is there has to be some kind of revenue transfer in terms of property taxes as it relates to Section 99 of the Revenue Code. Both the city and the county entered into an agreement, and it was finalized in October of 2021. So on October 6, 2020, the city applied to LAFCO the adoption of a resolution 2020-73. All of the application materials were submitted to LAFCO on or about February of 2021. The Galt City Council approved the property tax exchange agreement on September 21, 2021, and the County of Sacramento approved the same agreement on October 5th, 2021. The actions that are being requested are the annexation of the area into the City of Galt and detaching that area from County Service Area 1, Galt Irrigation District, and the Slough House Resource Conservation District. The following two slides are also found in your staff report. Basically, it relates to the city services and which ones will be changing. As you can see, some of them will be switching from the county over to the City of Galt, or otherwise it would not, in the case of fire protection and emergency services, that will not change. It will remain the same. In terms of the environmental review, the City of Galt is lead agency for the project. They prepared and approved an initial study and mitigated negative declaration on the project in August of 2020. A mitigation monitoring plan was included as part of that environmental review. Your staff report contains an analysis of all the factors you must consider tonight, which are also summarized in attachment A. While there are currently no development plans in the annexation area, the City of Galt indicates that it has the capacity and capability to extend services if and when it's necessary, without lowering the service delivery to existing residents. And the city also indicates it will collect sufficient funds to offset any increase in demand for services. So your recommendations tonight is to recognize the City of Galt as the lead agency for the project, prepared a mitigated negative declaration and CEQA determinations, which have been found to be adequate for the purposes of the reorganization, and direct staff to file a notice of determination in compliance with CEQA and local ordinances implementing the same. Determined, number 2, that the Galt Island annexation proposal meets all of the requirements in the Government Code 56-375.3b, and is therefore a subject territory, and therefore the subject territory of this proposal is an island, as the term is defined in Government Code 56-375.3. That would also entail that you waive the conducting authority hearings as part of this proposal. And lastly, you will adopt the resolution LAFC 2021-20-1201, adding any additional conditions the Commission finds appropriate, and approve the City of Galt Island annexation reorganization. That concludes my my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Commissioner Frost.
Thank you, Chair Little. I just wanted to, I had some conversations. I know there were some public comments that came in and some actual copies of, communications that had taken place at the city council level. And also I do remember our board meeting, and when we were addressing the tax sharing agreement and the conversations that took place at the board level, where Supervisor Natoli was advocating for the community who wanted to make sure that the legal use, the existing legal uses, and I know this goes to land use. In full disclosure, I should mention I also called Jose this evening. The existing uses continue to be the same moving forward. And the question I have is there any way, I know, I think that conversation, from what I understand, is with the City of Galt. Is there anything LAFCO can do to memorialize those conversations or those promises to that community in respect for the direction that Supervisor Natoli had kind of strongly, expressed at the time when we were discussing the tax sharing agreement? I know the city gave us a letter that memorialized their intentions at the time of the tax sharing agreement. I don't know if the city's here tonight, and I wonder, my question is there a way for LAFCO to memorialize that those property owners will be able to continue with their existing land use under some kind of a legal non-conforming way moving forward? And so this is my request.
Thank you, Commissioner Frost. I would like to acknowledge that Craig Hoffman, from Director of the City of Galt's Community Development Department, is here with us in the meeting, and he can answer what the city has done so far in order to respond and address the concerns from those landowners.
Thank you, and thank you, Craig, for being here.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me tonight. Am I on right now?
You're on.
All right, perfect. So on page 13 of your staff report, you see a few items that were agreed upon. This item is about 31 years in the making. I think the City of Galt has tried to annex this area into the city about 4 times. And so with the change in LAFCO laws. We're excited. We do feel as a community, we do provide the services for this area. It's in a very odd part of Galt, and it's in a very southern part of that county. So we do feel like we do provide the services for this area. In August of 2020, the city council held a public hearing and a number of concerns came out, and you saw some of those letters. And although an adjacent project was approved, the council directed staff to go work with the local community within this island area, understand what their concerns were. And one of the things they requested was put it in writing what we could guarantee to that community. And on page 13 of your staff report, you see 4 items. They're numbered 1 through 4. They were included in a staff report dated October 6, 2020, that we took to the city council. And the city council made it very clear that these properties were able to continue with their legal non-conforming uses until at a time they developed. They weren't required to hook up into any city water or sewer until they developed or requested those. And those 4 items were in a staff report, and they were memorialized by our city council. And we subsequently provided a letter to the county executive office to provide to the board acknowledging this annexation for the city of Galt. This is not as much about a bunch of uses that we're concerned with out in this area. It's more, we feel that we're the appropriate jurisdiction to provide services, and we can logically provide services to this area. So from a land use standpoint, I don't think that's ever been really our concern for this area, and I hope that helps.
That helps a lot. Thank you, Craig. I just wanted to make sure that that went on record, that we had not forgotten those important considerations, and appreciate that you did memorialize it.
Yeah, absolutely. Our council at that meeting absolutely brought these up, and our council made those guarantees to the community.
And my understanding from Jose is that this is not, and Deanne, maybe our council can, I'm informed that it's not our issue. It's not something we can memorialize or speak to. It's really more something the city and the property owners.
Yeah, so this is Deanne Gillick, General Counsel. As it's been indicated, land use and the zoning and those matters are not something that LAFCO has any jurisdiction over, and cannot place any conditions on an annexation based upon that. That's strictly a city issue, and as indicated, it would be properly or appropriately handled by the city and the city's zoning and land use decisions. What is before the commission, and what the commission can do, is determining to make those findings that the executive officer went over in the staff report. There's various, I think there were 8 findings required for this island annexation. So that is the area that this commission has jurisdiction over, and whether or not you can make those findings or are willing to make those findings. Some of them were prime ag land. The area is completely developed. The area will be served by or benefits from the annexation. So those are the matters which the commission can consider, and the recommendation is that those findings can be made, but that is a decision that the commission could deliberate if that was the desire.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Yes, Commissioner Budge.
Okay, so I appreciate Commissioner Frost bringing up the issue of the letters we've received, and I appreciate legal counsel's discussion of land use, but I'd like to put a little finer point on Craig's comment at the very end about their feeling that the city of Galt is the logical service provider. And while As a representative of an incorporated city, I completely agree with him. On the other hand, if I were to extrapolate that and read something into it, I would be a landowner concerned that the city of Galt might require me to connect to Galt sewer and water, which was one of the two of the issues that were brought up in the letters that we've received. So I would ask Craig to go back and refine his comments a little bit or define them.
Sure, let me get back to that page 13 of your staff report. And again, the property owners, they asked that question at the public hearing, and the council made it very clear that property owners shall not be required to connect to city water service upon annexation unless they request it or they're looking to develop their properties. And that goes for water and sewer. So
very good.
They may want them in the future, but they're not required to hook up. And some of these properties might never hook up. They're all ranchettes.
With that, just from a legal perspective, I'm making assumptions that, the city code allows the status quo to continue until such time as there's a development change or there's a health and safety need for those properties to hook up and participate in the city's services. So I'm making some assumptions just based upon, understanding the local ordinances and the laws. And I see the city staff is shaking their head to just confirm that the city's ordinances allow the status quo to continue.
Correct.
I just want to thank Jose, guided me through that this afternoon. I in full transparency, I wanted to bring it up so that it was memorialized and that we had, I wanted to make sure we covered every question that was requested from a fellow supervisor who has, watches over that district. So thank you also, Deanne, for your guidance.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? Questions? Do we have a motion?
Chair Little, I wanted to, I didn't quite cover all of the recommendations that are in your staff report.
And also public comment.
Right,
okay.
No,
I did indicate that you can waive the conducting authority hearings as allowed under 56.375.3 subsection A. You should also direct me to make all the filings under the law that are necessary, and then determine that the effective date of the annexation is 5 business days after the certificate of completion has been recorded. So those are 3 missing recommendations.
But those were not in what you gave to us.
They are in the staff report. I did
okay,
not present them when I was making my presentation.
All right, very good. Do we have any public comment?
Hello, Chair Little. This is Manuel again with the clerk's office. There is no public comment.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion?
I'll move to approve the annexation Frost.
Okay. A second?
And move to approve staff's recommendations.
Correct.
Okay.
Second?
Second, Commissioner Jones.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Frost and a second by Commissioner Jones. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Yes. Commissioner Little,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Fudge, Commissioner Budge, are you still there?
Looks like she dropped off.
Okay. Desmond,
Aye.
Frost,
Aye.
and Liebig?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passed.
Great.
Thank you to the commission and staff for your work on this. Like I say, this is a long time coming. This has been an interesting project that spans 3 decades. So thank you all so much for your time and efforts.
Thank you. Thank you for being here tonight too and explaining this. Do we have, let's see, what's our next item?
Next item is questions and announcements. Executive Officer and Commission Council to start.
I do have one, the appointment of the of your executive officer and me as the LAFCO Deputy EO was finalized a couple of weeks ago. And in fact, I have my first event, which will be the LAFCO regional meeting taking place next Wednesday at 10:30. I sent you an agenda. I would welcome you to attend if you can. And this is basically a clearinghouse for, it gives all the LAFCos in the central region the opportunity to basically discuss some items of mutual interest. Your moderator will be Commissioner Jones. So looking forward to seeing you there if you can make it.
All right. Thank you very much. Congratulations to you. Does anyone else have anything? If not, I have a couple of comments that I'd like to say. I just want to say thank you to the public throughout the year who've brought comments to us. We didn't have any this evening, but we've had plenty in the past. And for a productive year by everyone and everyone's participation, and we've accomplished quite a lot of things, and also accomplished getting a new executive officer, which is exciting too. And happy to have Jose with us now. Whatever your tradition is, I hope that you'll have a wonderful holiday season. And that's all I have. Anybody else have any comments that they'd like to make before we gavel this thing closed? No? Okay. Well, then the meeting is adjourned at 6:21. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Happy holidays, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you
Safe
all very
travels
much.
if you're going out.